is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
Where can you take $10,000 off the 2026 Acura MDX? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Link, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Link, be the maestro of your own home.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our all-stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days from Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt and Rayom can help.
Where can you drive the new Acura TLX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Boys and girls, yes sir, it's a beautiful day unless you're investing, but we are here. Welcome aboard. Yes sir, it's Thursday, March 19th, 2026. It is day number 19,054 since our beloved Miami Dolphins were world champions. Day number 8,837 since the Canes were national champions. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Thank you all. Don't forget, smash them like buttons. It's very important whenever you're watching, day, nights, overnights, weekends, holidays. Smash. Hit that thumb, baby. Smash that thumb. It's very important. Gets the algorithms going. Of course, you can also make a donation on the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can make that also anytime, anywhere, and we always appreciate it. Thank you. Send your questions, comments, and insults there. As always, very appreciative overall. Blessed day because the Lord gave us another one, but man, markets are hurting. Gold is crashing badly.
Silver is crashing badly. The markets right now are crashing badly. The Dow at the moment, by the way, remember 50,000? We're at 46 now. Okay, we'll be at 45 something today because it's going to drop under 46, guaranteed. It's down 196 points. Crude oil a barrel is up to $119. So this is, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. This war is going to last a long time. So buckle up, folks. Hang in there. And the S&P is down 28. The NASDAQ is barely up. Okay. Like barely up. A fraction of a percent. So not much. Not much. A fraction of a point, that is. So not a big deal. Not a good day overall in the investment world. Bitcoin is down, but it's not like it's not hurting as badly as some of the other assets because it's kind of still hanging around where it's been. It's at 69,934. In fact, it's now headed back up. It hit a low of 69.3 and now it's at 69.9. And I'm going to stay steadfast on all of this. It's just education and adoption, and it takes time. And in these kind of moments where we're headed for even worse financial, ruins, they're going to seek shelter Bitcoin. It's coming. I'm just, but the good thing about this show, as you all know, we don't do shit at hindsight. So we get to say, hey, we told you. So, it's going to come. It's going to happen eventually. And, those of us that are patient, Vivek Ramaswamy bought it was like $200 million of Bitcoin today. So, it's ridiculous. They know what's happening behind the scenes. So, and they're asking for $200 billion more for the war. They're going to ask the Congress for money for a war they didn't ask for permission. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting. So, this is crazy times, folks. Crazy times. So, we all suffer, but I got to say, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the entertainment because it's the level of stupidity is incredibly entertaining. I have to say, it's amazing what we've done and put in the White House. So impressive. And not that we're impressing anybody around the world, but it is what it is. So. All right, time to rock and roll on the show. Got a few things to talk. Not a really heavy day today when it comes to sports, unfortunately. InterMiami last night choked out in the CONCACAF. They choked out against Nashville, and it was the funny part. Nashville was that team that used to give Miami fits the first couple of years. And it was just one of those things that they couldn't get over the hump. Nashville had switched over from the USL. They had a lot of their guys. They had the same coach. They had a lot of chemistry, which allowed them to make a transition to the MLS a lot faster than InterMiami, where they were constantly bringing in free agents and trying to mesh everything together. But then Nashville hasn't given them problems over the last few years. They've dominated Nashville. Since the Messi, arrival, they've dominated Nashville. They haven't given them any trouble. And yesterday, because of the rules, a road goal was more important than a home goal. And they both went scoreless in the first matchup last week in Nashville. Inter didn't score. And last night at Chase Stadium, they only had one goal. And they had a couple of other opportunities, but overall, not enough. They didn't create enough chances. The offense just wasn't there. Nashville did enough on defense. They were swarming around Messi at times, which would make sense. I mean, the lone goal was Messi's 900th, and somehow or another they allowed him to get that left foot, and how he hit it opposite post. That was pretty cool. His vision is just absolutely stupid. He just sees things at other levels. It's just it's kind of like watching a quarterback that can throw through multiple windows and in anticipation throws to it. Stuff like that you're like, holy shit, he saw that coming before it was there, and he put the ball right before it got there, and that kind of stuff. Those are the things that impress you. And Messi just that was awesome. But unfortunately, the team wasn't good enough. And yesterday they ended up 1-1 in the draw, but Nashville ended up advancing because their goal was the more important one, because it was a road goal. And kind of sucks, no shootout, no extra overtime or anything like that. That's how they wanted to settle it. Now, it is a tournament inside a season, so I would imagine that they kind of want to eliminate as much wear and tear as possible. And maybe that's why that was, that's the better way to handle it. But those are the rules. Everybody plays by them. And so InterMiami is out of the CONCACAF, and that I'm sure they're incredibly disappointed, because that's a couple of opportunities to make money that are gone now for them. Anyway, let's see what else do we have going on in the world of sports. We got the Heat on tonight. The Heat are favored by 2.5. I know the Lakers played last night, and people were making a point on social media that LeBron may not play tonight. I don't trust the Heat at all. I'm looking at this game going, they still have Luka, they have Reeves, who's a pretty good shooter, DeAndre Ayton. I know that Bam is questionable, but I still wouldn't trust the Heat in this situation. I would still probably take the Lakers plus 2.5. And there's no way I would bet on the Heat. No way. Even, and I know that if LeBron doesn't, rest, I understand. He scored 30 last night, but I just, the Heat is a team that, because you don't have a star, I don't trust you ever. It's just kind of like that, unfortunately, because everything has to go well in order for you to win as a team, because you have no one that can say, get out of the way, I'm going to take over, I'm going to carry you, I'm going to, no one exists like that on this team. And so, unfortunately, so I look at it and I get it, the back-to-back, but hey, I'm not going to bet on the Lakers, because my thing. I don't do that because I don't like sitting there rooting against my favorite team. That's no fun. That's just, I'm going to want the Heat to win. But all I'm saying is, if I'm laying money, I wouldn't lay it on the Heat. I wouldn't trust the Heat. I hope they win, but I wouldn't trust it. Panthers at Edmonton tonight, 9:00. That's a foregone conclusion. That season's over, but at least you can watch the boys. So we're working our way to tomorrow night, by the way. Thank God it's a Friday that the U is playing at 10:10, and it's not a Thursday. This is, you go to sleep late, and then you're waking up early and all this crap, and I just, I hate that. So I'd rather have a late game on a Friday night, and I don't have to do something on Saturday morning, and I can sleep in if I feel like it. So I love that. Let's see if they can advance past Missouri on Friday. Would be pretty cool if they can at least win. That's what I'm hoping for the Canes, is just to win a game. Get around. If you can get around, it's already been an incredibly successful season. Period. End of story. Jay Lucas proved it already. It's over. He doesn't need to really do any more than what he did. That guy hustled like I don't know, rarely ever seen in the history of South Florida sports. In less than a year, the hustling that guy did to rebuild the program from absolutely, literally nothing. Dude, that's impressive. And I'm sure players around the country are noticing something like that, and their agents and all that kind of stuff. Plus, it's Miami. So be interesting if they're able to recruit like 3-point shooters and stuff like that, and become more of an efficient and a better scoring team. Gonna be scary, man. Gonna be scary. And we'll see how NIL wise, if they're able to do what they're doing in football, so they can compete with all these other programs, because they certainly have the guy, dude. They certainly have the guy. Jay Lucas is the man. And if he can just win a game in the tournament, that for your first year, you know, that's coach of the year material. Now, I am not educated enough and smart enough to know all of the situations around the country and the coaches that took over or anything like that, but he's got to be in that conversation somehow, somewhere. Not just ACC. I'm just talking about overall in the nation. That guy's work this year was, wow, dude, stupendous. So I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. See it's really, I'm not going to be watching a lot of these games. I'll watch, towards the end a little bit more and all that. But if the U is alive, then I'll definitely be watching, because always support my local teams at least. So looking forward to that. By the way, screwed up news, huh? Cade Cunningham from Detroit, diagnosed with a collapsed lung. So he's expected to miss an extended period of time, according to Shams Charania. Good insider, zero personality. He's very mechanical, I will say. Very mechanical. There is absolutely no personality there. So it's just kind of a dry delivery, you know what I'm saying? But he brings the substance. He's hooked, and that's all that really matters, in the end. But I will say it's not an entertaining watch, because he doesn't really bring any kind of color to anything that he does. It's very, very mechanical, very straightforward. And I guess for his business, that's just absolutely fine. You're not really doing a talk show or anything like that. Oh, wow. Okay. That is not good. Okay. All right. Let's see. So Vivek Ramaswamy's Strive moved into the top 10 Bitcoin corporate holders with their purchase today of 317 Bitcoin. So crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. Eric, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, morning, guys. Have a great day. What's for lunch? I haven't decided any lunch. I had had some fruit this morning. Had my banana. Had some berries. But I have not had lunch yet. I'll have a nice size lunch, and then I'll continue with my fruits and vegetables and stuff like that in the late afternoon, early evening, things like that. That's what I'm doing now. Instead of fasting, now what I do is I have one big meal, and then what I have for breakfast is something super light and super healthy, whether it'll be, some kind of fruit or something like that. And then in the afternoon, or late afternoon, early evening, I'll do the same thing. That's kind of what I'm doing. So that way I get the one big meal, and then I get a lot of nutritious stuff before and after it. So that's what we do. That's how we're rolling nowadays. That's how we've changed the lifestyle, Let's see. Frankie Fresco says, I think Missouri is going to upset Miami. And I'm not hating. I like their basketball program. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. It's a 7 and a 10. Anybody can beat anybody in a 7 or a 10. I don't know enough about Missouri, so it's not like I watch Missouri basketball. It's not like I can break it down for you. It's not like I went and looked at Missouri basketball and broke down the tape. I have a life. So I'm not going to do that. But it's a 7 and a 10. I've lived long enough to know that, it's not a 116 thing going on. So it's a 7 or a 10. So that's usually you're pretty even, and anybody can win. So I don't care about it on the road or close to their place, or that it's at 10 at night or whatever. They're young. You can adjust to it. If you were an old man and you were on a third game on the fourth night, then I start to take those kind of things into account. But when you're a 20-year-old kid, give me a break, dude. The Dow is now down 338 points. So kind of hurting there, folks. kind of hurting. All right. What else? What else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, John Eric Sullivan made a hell of a move in the Waddle trade. That was a first and a third is absolutely awesome. And let me give some props. I don't know if there's any Steeler fans out there, checking out the show ever, because maybe you're fans of the Canes or Heat or whatever other teams, but in football, you're not the Dolphins, you're, Steelers, and you're watching. I got to say, the move that they made for Michael Pittman Jr., that was, they swapped a 6th rounder for a 7th rounder. Okay. Then what they did was they ended up signing him to a contract extension where he's going to cost $8.87 million against the cap this year. Okay. His salary is $1.3 million and then a signing bonus of $7.5. That's how it breaks down. And then it's 2 years after that where the cap hit jumps in 27 and 28 for 26 and 24 million. And you get yourself like a really good receiver for a late round swap. And then you sign him to a pretty decent contract. Really, really cap friendly this year. And then obviously it goes up to where, a guy like that belongs overall. And considering that you're the team that is always drafting knuckleheads, you kind of know that at least Michael Pittman Jr. is not a knucklehead. So he just wants to play. Now, do you have the quarterback to get him the ball is, that's a whole other question. And if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, I have no idea how that whole mess is going to turn out. But sometimes you see some of these deals and I see that and I go, wow, man, that is, I love the Jalen Waddle trade. When I saw that trade, I was blown away that Sullivan got that kind of value, which tells me that's what he's doing for Achane. He'll trade his ass the second somebody gives him what he cannot turn down. Let me make an offer that he can refuse. And when that happens, then you're in. You know what I'm saying? But I got to give Omar Khan and the boys over there with the Steelers. I saw that article today. I was reading and the whole breakdown of the trade and then the contract and everything else. And that's kind of the thing that you still have to give somebody a contract. That's the difference in the Waddle one. The contract was already in place and the team that's trading you already gave the signing bonus. So you're not taking that hit either. You're only taking the hit for the next salaries. So it's very manageable for the Broncos, that way. And in this case, he wanted a new deal. So you weren't going to get high compensation because nobody was going to give you high compensation and a new contract. But the new contract that the way they've fixed it, at least for this year, to make it very manageable, and then next year it goes to the normal salaries. Very smart, man. Very smart. And obviously they're in a different spot than Miami. They're still trying to compete right now. Like, they're not in a teardown. They didn't add this coach to tear down. They added this coach because they want to continue and they don't want to go, super young like what the Dolphins are doing. So the Dolphins don't need to do a Pittman-like deal. They needed to do a Jalen Waddle-type deal. But I just wanted to bring it up because props goes to people that do it right, period, on this show. And that was, that's the kind of deal I want Sully to make if the Dolphins are a receiver away from a title run or something like that in a couple of years. If they feel they're a guy away, that's the kind of trade that I'd like for him to make. One where he could find a young guy that needs a new deal, but you're not going to give up much in compensation, but you got to give him the contract. Because the stupid ones are the ones that give up the high picks and they have to give up the contract. That makes no sense. So that's where I saw that deal and mad props to the Steelers. I thought they got really, really good value in return for Michael Pittman Jr. and a really good deal overall. Carson Wentz, he re-signs with the Vikings. I guess there wasn't much of a market for him, so he's going to back up J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. I think it'll be Kyler Murray to start, obviously. I've never been a J.J. McCarthy fan. If you've listened to the show, that's a guy that I never believed in him from the get-go. So, it is what it is. But we'll see what happens. But maybe Wentz is the backup instead. Maybe he passes J.J. McCarthy. Who knows? The one thing about Wentz, he did not recapture any of his magic from the early part of his career. And Kevin O'Connell's done a great job with everybody that he's worked with. He didn't reach Wentz. That's one that he couldn't. So he'll get a chance this year to see if he could do better, just in case he has to play. It'll be interesting. But that's a very interesting quarterback room, because you really don't have a starter. So it's kind of like you got three guys that are, a couple of failed projects and a failed draft pick is kind of what you have. I think it'll be Kyler Murray when it's all said and done out of all those guys. And I'll tell you, I was right about J.J. McCarthy. Man, I was wrong about T.Y. Hilton. So T.Y. Hilton announces his retirement yesterday at 36. He really hadn't played much the last couple of years. And when he got taken in the third round, I liked him as a player. And I remember him coming out. Though what I did not like, and I thought he was more of a fourth or fifth rounder actually instead of a third, was his size. And I was always worried about durability for T.Y. Hilton at the next level. And why I would have said, when the Colts took him in the third round, I was like, no, I like him. I saw him at FIU. He was terrific and all that, but he's a small player. And I was worried about him at the next level. And, dude, I could not have been more wrong about T.Y. Hilton. That was one tough sumbitch. He wasn't the size guy. He was playing on a dome, on the carpet. Everything that was detrimental to a player that size. And the fact that he had 5 1,000-yard seasons, the fact that he led the NFL, was it in 2016 with 1,448 yards. He ends up a career with 9,812 yards, 53 touchdowns on 638 receptions. T.Y. Hilton did much better than I expected. I thought he would have been like a third, fourth guy that was a Dedrick Hall type or something like that. That was like a complimentary guy in a multi-wide receiver package. Never expected him to be a 1 or a 2. No, I thought he could play in the league and all that, but I never thought that his body would last in the NFL. And it wasn't about ability. It was always about durability, is what I was afraid of with T.Y. Hilton. And I could not have been more wrong with T.Y. Hilton and his durability, because that was one tough sumbitch, man. Super impressive. And I don't think he'll make it to the Hall of Fame, of course, but he is definitely going to be, I don't know, do they, Ring of Honor or whatever they do with the Colts or whatever. He deserves to get a lot of praise for that team, Anyway, what do we got here? Let's see. Let me go to the chat board here. That's right, our friends at All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Tell them that Big O sent you, folks. Same day service installs, over 350,000 satisfied customers. Go to allyearcooling.com for a free estimate. They service Homestead to Vero Beach. And now we have an office in Naples. So our friends over in the West Coast, please call them 1-888-204-5554. They've been around since 1973. So this is year number 53. They are Florida's #1 AC and plumbing service. So financing available, extended warranty, same-day installations, free repair estimates, 7-day-a-week service. Call them and tell them that Big O sent you. 888-204-5554. Great people, man. They installed my AC in 2010. Okay? 16 years later, dude. Still going strong, man. Still going strong. All right. Oscar Rojas is in the house. Kosa, Horn Dog. I see No Doubt there. The Big Johnson is in. Skylar Tipton, MCM. Let's see. Dude loves him. So crypto. So everyone's printing. It's not according to me, bro. Just look at the M2 money supply. You know what I'm saying? It grows 7 to 10% every year. I mean, if you don't know what you're talking about, you may not want to, understand that there's a reason why I talk about one thing and the other. Money gets destroyed, as I guess you haven't noticed that you buy less and less with your money. Well, Bitcoin only grows. It doesn't shrink. Started at 8 digits behind a penny, dude. So in a 17-year period, nothing has grown like Bitcoin. Anyway, Lenny Pena, education is a real problem in this country. That's why we're in the mess we're in right now. Luis Medina, Jeff in Long Island, Ty in the Bronx, Brian Landis. Let's see. Scott says, Big O, what do you think the chances are we trade the 11th pick to go down in the late round and get more picks? I have no idea, Scott. Zero. No idea, my brother. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if he wants the best player available. I don't know if he thinks the best player at 11, he can get the same kind of player at 17. And I don't know what he's thinking. So I cannot tell you that I know. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Ariel, can't predict the future, but who do you want the Dolphins to pick at 11 and at 30? I haven't even thought about it at 30. At 11, I want one of the UM guys to fall. That's what I want at this moment. At 30, dude, when we get there, then we'll talk about it at that point. I don't know who's off the board and all that kind of stuff. Listen, man, I don't care about mocks. I never have, never will. The only time I did mocks was at QAM, and I only did them when Miguel Escobar asked me for, because I love Miguel. He's a fantastic human being. Anyone else in any of the other years that asked me to do a mock, I told them to go F themselves. But when Miguel would ask me, since I like Miguel, I would do the mock, and then they would put it up. I hate mocks. It's pure failure. How can you think like 32 GMs? How are you going to think when they're at that moment, when you don't know who's off the board or whatever? You don't know what trades are made that shake everything up and all that. To me, that's all just mental masturbation, bro. Whether you're writing it or reading about them. It's like, no, dude, I got better things to do than worry about mocks. That's not going to make my life better or worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like one of the UM guys at 11. That's what I'd like. Or the safety, if he can fall there. Something like that. What I don't want is a receiver. That's as much as I can tell you. Definitely don't want a receiver. But everything else is a go. Somebody on defense, somebody on offense, some badass, the best defensive back. Yeah, I can go with that. Those are game changers for me. I like that. Stoney Stanley is in the house. Ariel is in. Yeah, he cooked. I'm with you, Ariel. Big O, do you know Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor of the state of Ohio as a Republican? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I like when first Vivek came out on the scene, I liked him because fiscally he has a lot of really good ideas. But then, I saw that he had a whole bunch of the far right-wing nut crap going on, and then that's where he lost me. But at first I thought, hey, maybe there's a young guy with some potential, because he does understand finance. He does understand what's going on with our dollar. He is against the spending that's going on now. Okay. He's like Rand Paul in that sense on the fiscal side. But Rand Paul does not go radical on the whole immigration side. He does the stuff that's normal, like what we all wanted. Oh, you're going to get out the bad guys? Great. Awesome. We all didn't want you to go kick out the landscapers and the people that are cleaning houses and, like people that are just like helping our world go round and round, and they're part of our society. What I would have done with those immigrants is now I've identified them. Now I put them on the road to become an American. If they have no record and if they've been paying their taxes and all that, every day they pay taxes, because everything they buy, they got to pay taxes or whatever. So now let's get them on track. That's what I would have done. Oh, you're a productive citizen here. Great. Let's keep you here because you're a productive citizen. Oh, you're a dirtbag. Okay, you're out. We were all for that's what we all, we all thought that that's what they were going to do. But, that's kind of the way it goes, So what can I tell you? And so Swami he's kind of radical in that sense, whereas Rand Paul isn't. You know what I mean? So Swami lost me on that. But on the money side, he knows his shit. He'd do a lot better than the clown that's in office right now on the money side. So, but I give him, I'm objective, man. For Democrats or Republicans, where I don't like either side, but there's, I can give you positives, characteristics about one person or another. Since I don't give a shit about either side, I don't mind talking good or bad about either side. You all out there that can't handle it, well, that's your problem, not mine. Anyway, let's see. Skylar, nothing like trading all of your young talent with the hope that you hit on the player that is as good as the player that you traded. You're talking about the Waddle trade? I guess you didn't watch the show yesterday. Maybe you would have gotten educated. Waddle's 28 in November. You suck this year. You're going to suck next year. So you'll suck at 28 and 29. Maybe you might be half decent in year 3, a year 30. If you do everything right, you should really start being good in year 4. He's 31. It's a foresight trade, dude. Skylar, anybody against a Waddle trade, you don't get it. You're not really looking at the big picture. That was a really smart trade by Sully. At this point in time, you don't need Waddle. So if you're talking about the Waddle trade, your comment makes 0 sense. Just saying. What's a better trade, Waddle or Chris Greer trade for Tyreek? The Tyreek trade was good early on. It's just you didn't maximize anything. The whole Greer thing, just didn't work out. That's all. With the Waddle thing, we don't know. You're asking something that passed with something that just happened, and we have no idea how it's going to turn out, because the second part of the Waddle trade is the picks. So you can't ask that question, Frankie. Apples and oranges, my friend. Okay? And the past is the past. That's already failed. Like the entire 35 years of the Dolphins is an absolute failure. So, it doesn't matter who you talk about. Greer, you talk about Mueller, you talk about Saban, you talk about JJ. They're all failures. The end of Shula, they're all failures. So it doesn't matter what era you talk about, it's a failure. You know what I'm saying? So now we'll see if Sully and Half can do something that hasn't been done in well over 35 years. Have success, real success for a football team. So you can't talk about what hasn't happened with what happened. Not a good comparison. Let's see. Dolphin Dave. Rosendo, good morning to you. Miami Breaker, thank you, my friend. Very kind of you. Think Blue Dodgers is checking in. He's smashing the like button, and he's definitely token. Definitely token. Let's see. What else? Pat says, I wanted my illegal landscaper to get deported. Now I pay much less for landscaping and work much harder. Wait, I didn't think this through. Now you got to do it, huh? Oh, man. Let's see. Yeah, I know how old Waddle is. He's also going to be a good player for at least another 4 years. I don't like the trade, and I'll stand on that. You don't need to get rid of every young player, but you don't need him now. You're going to suck for several years. Why would you ruin his best years? And are you sure, Skylar? Are you sure in year 4 that Sullivan and Half are going to have a playoff team and that Waddle is going to go to an AFC championship game. Are you sure about that? So I'd rather you take the first and the third rounder, and maybe you hit on another wide receiver there, and now you have a young one, cheap for 4 years, that you don't have. Well, if you draft in the first round, you have him 5, and you don't have to pay him big-time money. Or if you land in the third round, somebody that can replace Waddle, now you're not paying him for 4 years big money, and you're in the years of development, you're not taking up big salary space. So, and by the way, you have a lot of cap issues, so it helps to get that cap number out. I don't know how you don't see it right now. This is not the time to own Jalen Waddle. It's not the time. It just isn't. This was a genius move on his part. Okay? I don't like the Willis move, but I love this move. The Willis move was ridiculous, but this one makes all the sense in the world. For these rebuilds, is Stephen Ross covering tailgate food cost for his patrons of season ticket holders? I can't even get 5 wings at Sports Grill for a ticket. Yeah. Yep. Stephen Ross is making lots and lots of money, baby. New Dolphins lyrics, it's a failure, boogie, woogie, woogie. Do we know how much cap Miami is going to have next year? Well, we'll figure that out next year, bro. Let's wait till you find out all the dead cap money that you'll create going into next year. Then we'll minus it after we find out how much the cap has increased, because it'll probably go up another 15, 20, 25 million. So you're probably going to get more. So then we'll figure out all the dead cap money at that point. Don't get ahead of yourself, Frankie. Relax. There's plenty of time. You have an entire long-ass season coming before, and an off season before you get to those questions. All right? Waddle wasn't worth it by the time rebuild is finished. Waddle would be old. Thank you, Lil. Appreciate that. It's common sense. Common sense. New regime means cleaning house and starting over. That is, And by the way, this is how you start over. This is how you really tear the bitch down, bro. This is fantastic, the way they're doing it. I love it. The only thing I didn't like is Malik, because that's so Dolphins that we keep putting young quarterbacks behind bad teams, And that part to me doesn't make any sense. But, what are you going to do? Don't forget Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Bitcoin's at 69,150. The market right now, let me see, just pulled it up. Let me see if we get a refresh, because it says down 368 points. But you never know. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it gets worse. I don't know. We'll see. But we got it at 344. Got a little better, actually. Got a little better. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar and the amazing Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Call him for custom printing and embroidery. If your company, corporation, school, whatever kind of entity you have, you need any kind of custom printing or embroidery from uniforms or hats or just T-shirts. A lot of people have called in for like field trips and picnics and corporate get-togethers where they all put like the same shirt, and they go to Disney World or they go to a picnic, and that way everybody can spot them. We've had a lot of those kind of orders all across the country, actually, different listeners. So thank you, by the way. That's been like the most popular one. I thought it would be like uniforms and hats and stuff like that. It's actually been those kind of T-shirts, which is cool. But anyways, reach out. You can do all that stuff by Zoom and all that kind of crap, and send the logo, and they ship it to you right away. 786-618-1443. Call my guy, Alan Blanco. Great people. CONCACAF Champions Cup. Unfortunately, Nashville beat InterMiami, advancing after a 1-1 draw. The road goal was the deciding factor for Nashville. They advance. Miami is eliminated from the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The one goal Miami scored was Messi, and it was his 900th goal of his career. Tonight, On the hardwood, the Miami Heat are hosting the Lakers. They're favored by 2.5. 241 is the over-under. Lakers are plus 115. The Heat are minus 135. Tip-off will be at 8 o'clock. Tonight at 9, Panthers on the road to take on Edmonton. Edmonton is minus 150 on the money line. Panthers are plus 130. Friday night, back in action. First round of the NCAA tournament. Number 7, Miami, taking on number 10, Missouri. Miami is favored by 1.5. The over and under is 147.5. Miami is minus 135. Missouri is plus 110 on the money line. Saturday at 5, Lexington SC will host Fort Lauderdale United. You can watch it on Peacock or on Channel 10. And, of course, you can get your tickets when they come back to town at FTLUTD.com. And Sunday at 1 o'clock, InterMiami back in action. They will take on NYCFC on the road. And NYCFC is plus 130 on the money line. InterMiami is plus 210. In basketball, Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons was diagnosed with a collapsed lung, and he's expected to miss an extended period of time. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. I think we're going in the right direction. I can't wait for this draft online and deep O-line and defense for me. Let's go Dolphins. Let's hope so, man. We need it. We need a good draft, and then we'll find out if they can draft and develop and build a team. You know. Miami Finn says, Big O, I woke up this morning and bought some Bitcoin on sale. Good for you, man. I think we at any time now, we should be reversing. You know, we already have because we went to 60, but because of all this turmoil, and this is definitely going to lead us to a recession, and this is going to lead us to a lot of real bad problems because this is not going to go away. The United States can't just back away from this. And so this is going to get uglier before anything else. And, you know, the thought of sending troops is scary because I don't want people losing their lives for this shit, to be quite honest. But, you know, pray for our soldiers, man. And this is going to get bad because it's like an energy crisis that we're creating by doing this. Okay. And any expert would have told you that if you would have attacked Iran, they were going to attack the Gulf. Because that's just kind of, they're Nino Brown. When Nino stands there in the courtroom and says, if I'm going down, I'm taking the whole lot of you. And that's Iran. Iran is Nino Brown. And so, you're going to hit our energy infrastructures. We're going to hit everybody else's energy. And when they start hitting the saline plants, the desalination plants that convert the salt water to water, which, you know, they have no water sources there. They all depend on all that stuff. That becomes life and death. So they've already hit a couple of desalination plants. That is something that's more touchy than oil. Okay. Iran already has trouble with water. So this is going to get uglier. And these people are ruthless. They don't care. This isn't Venezuela, dude. That's where they mistimed this thing. They thought they were going to pop in, pop out, and, you know, it's like stripes. Come on, it's Czechoslovakia. You know, it's like Wisconsin. We'll pop in, we'll pop out. You know, there, and then the guy. Well, I got the shit kicked out of me in Wisconsin. Well, welcome to Wisconsin. So, you know, just saying, it's. I'll give you the analogy, okay? The Iranians are like Mexican boxers. How do you like that one, Sean? Iranians are like Mexican boxers. Do you know where I'm going with this? You have any idea? No? Okay. I figured I'm waiting for him to get it. No, because, you know, my analogy sometimes will throw your ass off. You ever step into the ring with the Mexican boxer? Yeah. Do you know about a soft Mexican boxer? Does that shit exist? Like, no, right? Like when you step into the ring with a Mexican boxer, you know you need a 2x4 to take that sumbitch down, right? Don't you? Right? On average. Just all you got to do is, on average, badass boxers are Mexican boxers. On average, bro. If you step into the ring with a Mexican boxer, brother, you better strap it on. Okay? And if you brought a 2x4, that might help you out to win. Well, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. You know, you went into Venezuela, and that was Jerry Cooney. And now it's a whole different ballgame. I can't tell you who's the soft boxer nowadays. I don't know if that exists because the sport almost doesn't exist itself. So there's no such thing as a famous soft boxer at the moment. You know, so I just got to go with the old guy there. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, if you're going to take these people on, brother, you better be ready for the craziest shit that's going to happen. Okay? And that's it's a screwed up analogy, but it's spot on. Okay? You know that when a Mexican gets into a ring, you know that that guy is going to fight. Period. End of story. You're going to have to earn that victory. They're not going to roll over at all. Same thing here. And these guys thought they were in the first day or two. They already want to give up. No, they don't, orangutan. Those people are psychos. They're not going to give up. You're going to have to kill them. It's crazy. This is going to last for a while, folks, unfortunately. It's just going to last for a while. These people are relentless. And now if you just leave, they will then you're now going to empower them, and they're going to dominate the Gulf because they own the Hormuz. So they'll charge everybody to come through there. Oh, this is not good. Not good. This is going to make everything worse. So, yeah. Lily likes Iran and Nino Brown comparison. You know, we come up with the most effed up analogies that there is on the planet. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's see what else. Kyle Krabs is saying the Dolphins will have over $100 million in cap space next year. Well, dude, the cap's $300 million. Yeah, you've wiped out all of your team. Of course, you're gonna have money. Yeah, big deal. Again, and do you think they're gonna go out and spend the $100 million? Like, you know, go out and buy a bunch of? No, they're not. You know, the next year there's no reason to buy a bunch of free agents unless there's like a 25-year-old guy, 27-year-old guy that becomes available, which rarely happens. But if something like that, you can buy one of those kind of guys. But outside of that, I don't expect them to spend a ton. You know, they don't need to go crazy in free agency next year. They're not winning anything next year. They're not winning anything this year or next year. We don't even know if they have a quarterback yet. So and you have to build up the lines. This is going to take a little while. It's going to take a little while. It's, you know, it is what it is. I'd love for this to be quick and a quick turnaround. And that's the person that's already talking about $100 million. You're already hurrying up the process, thinking that you're going to turn the corner quickly. And this is not. That's not what's going to happen. Don't do that because you're going to disappoint yourself. This is going to take a little while. You know, it's years 3 and 4 of this is where we should start seeing the fruits of this labor if they did it right. If they did it right. That's the key. If they did it right. And that's the part we won't know until it actually happens. You know, just got to be patient. That's all. Dolphins. You know, the Dolphins under Stephen Ross have proven one thing. They've proven that they're committed to making a lot of money. They're not committed to winning whatsoever because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to put the people in place. We don't know if Sully and Half are the guys. We're all hoping. Of course, we're all praying, but we do that every time they make changes. We're Dolphin fans. We want them to win. But Stephen Ross, throughout his existence as an owner of the Miami Dolphins, has only proven that he finds ways to make money off the property, whether it's putting a hotel, moving his practice facility from Davie onto his paid property where he saves himself money and creates more revenue streams there. Then he gets to keep all of it because he gets to control all of it, right? Then you've got a tennis tournament that is going on right now, the Miami Open, which is a fantastic event. You got gondolas going all over. You got all that stuff. You got the biggest concerts in the world coming. You got music festivals here, okay, like Jazz in the Gardens. I think Rolling Loud is gone now, but, you know, even though they've got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And then you've got the F1 race. And so, unfortunately, what he has built for himself is a financial monster. It's impossible to ever lose. He has a winning season all the time. National championship games are played there. Semifinal national championship games are played there, right? Super Bowls are played there every 7 years. He's going to get the Super Bowl. He's going to get the biggest international football events, soccer that is, in the world coming to that stadium. The Olympics. Aren't the Olympics in that stadium too? I want to say that the Olympics are in that stadium also. Okay, so think about this. That if he was as good at creating revenue streams as he would be for football, we would be amazing. We'd be watching this team constantly contend. He's a great businessman. And obviously, Tom Garfinkel is a freaking genius. Whatever Stephen Ross pays Garfinkel, it's not enough. You know why it's not enough? Stephen Ross was on MSNBC, and Andrew Sorkin asked him, I think you made more money on F1 than on the Dolphins. Am I wrong? Stephen Ross goes, F1 has been great. We get more attendance for F1 races for 3 days than the entire Dolphin season tickets that we sold. So they got a magnet for money. They got a magnet for winning, making money off people and creating entertainment and all that kind of stuff. Now, the Dolphins are the least entertaining product that he has. It's the product that is only measured by wins and losses. The other ones are just measured by his pockets getting fat and fat. Because you're always going to win with an F1 race. You're always going to win with the tennis tournament. You're always going to win with a hospital. You're always going to win with concerts. But you can't win with football. That one actually takes real competition. This one is you're being challenged by 31 other people for the same goal. He's not very good at that. But he's good at making a lot of money. A lot of money. I was on Twitter the other day, and some guy was showing me, a couple jerseys of players that are no longer on the team. And I'm like, we're at a point now in the Dolphin existence. It's stupid to buy any jersey of any player that's on the team right now. It's stupid. It's not a good investment. The only investment that's worth it is Marino, Zach, Jason, Zonka, Duper, Clayton. That's where just go keep the past. The present hasn't earned it enough. How crazy is that? Maybe Cam Wake. That's about it. It's just not worth it. You're better off if you're going to buy a jersey, and you want to put a player, don't ever get a player that's on the team anymore. That's proven over time that they don't know what they're doing. So wait, it's like it's my attitude now. I'm not going to practices anymore. I stopped last year, and I told you guys I will no longer go to practices anymore. I'm not going on road games anymore until they start winning playoff games. Until they win a playoff game in back-to-back seasons, then that third season I'll start, I'll increase coverage, I'll do all that kind of stuff, but I'm tired, bro. I'm done. And when you see this news, without answering, he answered the fact, he didn't say no, but he gave a great fact and stat that we get more attendance for F1 races in 3 days than we do the entire Dolphins season for season ticket holders and everything. So that tells you all you need to know. This man is making, he's got 2 NFL teams on his property, obviously, because F1 is making like an NFL team money. And it's just a weekend. It's just a weekend. And look at the amount of money that they're bringing in over a weekend. It's insanity, dude. Really is. Crazy stuff. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Appreciate you. He says, Ross has bigger chickens to fry than football. He made great hires except at football operations. Eventually, a great businessman gets hires right. Is it Sully? I sure hope so. We all do. And half. We need Sully to also hit on half. Because if you failed with that coach and then you got to hire another one, you know what I'm saying. I hate that shit. I don't want to go through that again. So we need Sully and half to be the shit. We definitely need it badly. 69, 545, still holding right around the same area. Let's see. Thank God I have my Zach jersey. My Tua and Waddle jersey got retired now, though. Change it, man. Although the Waddle one, what's that? That's Tannehill, right? What's Waddle? 17, right? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, you can't change it to Tannehill. Yeah. At least the Tua one you can make it or your premium. And that's still good. That's still good because that's your kicker for your 70s teams and undefeated season and all that stuff. And he was actually like a popular player, obviously with that terrible pass he had. It made him more infamous. But yeah, and Garrett was a good dude, man. Garrett wasn't he doing like Canon commercials for the camera or something like that? I remember back in the day, if I remember correctly, I think I'm old enough to remember him doing like a Canon or Nikon or some crap like that. I remember him doing some kind of commercials like that. Big O, do you think Miami beats Missouri tomorrow? I hope so. I think they got a chance. But, it's a 7 versus a 10. Anybody can win. I don't know enough about Missouri, dude. I don't watch Missouri basketball. I don't really watch a ton of basketball. I watch Miami. That's the only team that I really watch. I watch some Nova, actually. But that's about it. I don't really watch a ton of basketball, so I'd be lying to you, bro. If they got Missouri because their zone is going to give them trouble, and they don't have great 3-point shooting or whatever. I don't know anything about Missouri. I can't give you any insight on it. And I'm not going to sit here and go read an article or two and then sound like and make myself sound like I know. When I don't know something, man, I got no problem telling you I don't know. Zero issues with it. So I have no idea. I'm just hoping like you are, my brother. That's all. I'm just hoping. Let's see. The Dolphins are like the Marlins trading away players. We are the Miami Marlins of football. Yeah. Although I got to say the Marlins actually find better players over the years. They find some players that I wish we would have kept. Last player jersey I bought was Cam Wake, and I bought it after he retired. He was a role model. Yeah, Cam Wake is a good one. That's the last one. That's the last one worth buying, actually. You bought the last one worth buying because he's a great person and he was a great football player. Ring of Honor type guy. So yeah, definitely. Love Cam Wake, bro. When Cam Wake blew out his Achilles, go back and look at that video, bro. The son of a bitch blows out his Achilles, and he continues chasing after the quarterback on one foot. Never seen that in my life. Never seen that in my life. Instead of just going down, like all of them do, like all of us would have done, oh, man, my ankle's on fire, because that's what you hear about your Achilles. When it pops, it's like your ankle's on fire. Same as plantar fasciitis. Same thing. It's a tear. And it feels like your foot's on fire. And the dude was like hopping. Took a couple hops towards the quarterback. And Cam Wake he's a man, bro. He's a man. Let's see what else. You can buy a Steve Ross jersey. He's not going anywhere. Go Dolphins. Stephen F1 Ross can go F himself if he has no idea what he's doing with an NFL team. He doesn't have any idea. We just got to hope that he got lucky this time. Let's see. Yes, Ross is an ass clown. Big O, my crypto investment has been Bitcoin and Caspa. What do you think? Other suggestions? Right now, Ethereum is the only thing that I would suggest at this point in time. I have a bunch of other altcoins, but I'm not going to suggest that right now because it's just so volatile right now. And until we have clarity and everything else, there's a bunch of them that I love, but like I love Avalanche. I think Avalanche is going to be a monster. I've added some myself, but that takes some balls to go add some altcoins now, but on Caspa and Bitcoin, I haven't stopped adding. I still add Caspa, and I definitely add Bitcoin all the damn time. So, I love this dip. I haven't stopped buying. When we were in the 120s, I didn't stop buying. Now, am I buying more now? Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. But I'm not going to stop buying until this thing gets completely out of control. The idea, not financial advice, the idea for you is to own as much Bitcoin as you can. That to me, it's the target is get to like 20-25% of a Bitcoin at least. And if you can get more to that, God bless you, man. But at least get to 20-25% of the Bitcoin. Whether you bought it at 70 or 80 or 100 or 110, who gives a shit? Does not matter. Yeah, you're getting a little more, a little less, depends on when you buy it. Sure, but in the end, it's so cheap at this point, it's just about stacking. Because when it's 200 and 400,000 and 700,000 and a million, which I know some of you have a hard time understanding that it's going to get there, it's going to get there. It will get there. And then you're going to go, wow, okay, so when I bought it at 120, not a big deal. Like I remember buying it at 51 and it drops to 16. And many people panicked and I didn't. And what I ended up doing was buying more and more and more instead at 16. So it's what I tell everybody. At least not financial advice, but what happened to us now when we hit 60, that was our 16. That's this era's 16. And now we're going to take off and we'll eventually crush the 127 high. You know what I mean? And then, then people will get on the bandwagon at that point. But the person that's in office has created so much instability for everybody that everything is suffering. So this is what happens. And then the people that have lettuce hands that they don't want to hold on, they're dumping their gold, they're dumping their silver, they're dumping their stocks, they're dumping their Bitcoin, they're dumping their Ethereum. That's just kind of the way it goes. People panic, And by the way, the rich and the powerful, they use a lot of leverage. They want you to panic. They want you to get out because then they step in and buy it all cheaper. And that's what they want to do. That's what this game is. And that's what's been going on in the last year. There's been a leverage game in the market. And they're shaking people out. And then the corporates and the rich people, notice that the rich and powerful don't stop buying Bitcoin. They don't stop buying Bitcoin. There's a reason why they don't stop buying Bitcoin. They know. They're not fazed by it. So, yeah, man, it's up to you, Ariel. Whatever you like, whatever you've done your work on, your homework on, you have conviction, this is all going to pop eventually. It has to. Because money's dying. So they will stash their money somewhere else that it grows. And investments is where it grows. Money doesn't grow. Investments grows. You just see it there. They're all, the rich and the powerful are putting their money away in investments. So do what the rich and powerful are doing. Don't do what you and I would do. Do what they're doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm just following their lead. That's it. Not financial advice. Just see what they're doing. I'm going to do it too. I might bring my Ricky Williams jersey out of retirement. There you go. Does it smoke itself? Just wonder. I created a workout in his name. I loved Cam Wake 91. Yes, I remember that play. Dude was 100% of the time. Yep, he was. We have no Hall of Famers left. How sad is that? Yeah. It's kind of like the Heat, that they don't know how to draft a star either. They don't know how to develop a star anymore, or trade for a star, by the way. Yeah, kind of like that. The Ross jersey comes equipped with Dumbo ears to help you pick up more gold diggers. I like it. I didn't know that Ross was into gold diggers. Thought he was married. Damn, Ross. Still in his 80s playing the game? Strong. Jeff in Long Island says, Big O, can you give my wife Sharon a shout out for her birthday? Sharon, happy birthday. All right. Awesome. I hope you celebrate many, many more, Sharon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, appreciate you. Appreciate your support. By the way, you're the one that actually buys stuff for your guy off of our merch department. So thank you. Appreciate you. Happy birthday. All right. Have a great day. And Jeff, make sure you take care of her, man. All right. Make it special for her today. I think it's insane Webb isn't in the Hall of Fame. What's your thoughts? They didn't win shit. I agree. I put Webb in the Hall of Fame. But because when your team doesn't have any team success, it becomes that much hard. And then when you're quiet as a mouse, because Richmond Webb is not going to talk about himself. He's not going to brag about himself. He's not going to go talking about how he's better than this guy or that guy. He's not going to go out on radio and TV, and he's got this charisma that's going to win people over and then, reignite those kind of things. None of that. So it has to be done by us and media and all that kind of stuff. And what hurt him was that his teams accomplished absolutely nothing. And when that happens, your stats and your performance have to be so stand out that that's really the only way you end up getting that kind of credit. It sucks, dude. I love Richmond Webb. He's a terrific human being. I got to cover him many, many years. He's as professional as it gets. Richmond Webb is a beautiful person, bro. And he was a fantastic player. Smooth, man. Made everything look easy. Really. Just an all-around complete human being. So, yes, I would gladly put him into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But he just doesn't get the love that he deserves, and I think it's a lot because of the lack of team success. And it wasn't his fault. Just wasn't. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Let's see what else. They watched the film and saw Waddle take himself out of games every other play, made trading him easy. That's what Kenny says. Ariel says, yeah, I've been stacking and holding on both. Just got to keep building it. Yeah, that's it. I don't worry about the price right now. And right now with the dip, I just love that I'm getting more. That's all. But I'm not stopping, dude. I'm not stopping. I'll stop maybe when we're like over 200, maybe 250. Maybe at that point I'll stop buying and just, stack whatever I get from my Gemini card or whatever, something like that. But yeah, until it starts getting, really ridiculous, where the slivers are so small that you're getting, then I'm out. But yeah, I'm going to keep buying, dude. I'm not worried. I don't worry about the price. I never have. Never worry. Now, when there are dips, well, that's when I buy a little more than I normally would. So yeah, definitely. It's what you're supposed to do. The idea is to stack. Don't worry about anything else. Stack it and hold it and watch it over time. And you'll see where I was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we were at 16 and 20 and 25 and 30. Well, we're not there. And we're not getting there anytime soon. So way ahead. That's just kind of the way it goes. I just got to, and in 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to be in a couple hundred, 300, 400, 500,000. And you're going to go, oh, wow. Okay, I bought it at 70 and 100 and 110, 150. Damn, I did good. So I have the no-name jersey. It just says Dolphins. Ocala Joe says, so if there's lettuce hands, that means you and I are Hoover vacuums. We keep sucking it up. You know it. Lettuce hands are weak hands. Diamond hands are the strong hands. That's the strong hands are called diamond hands. The ones that just scoop up and hold, we're diamond hands. That's what we're called. Orlando, what's your top 3 positions of need for the Dolphins in the draft? D-line, O-line, D-line, O-line. Linebackers, pass rushers. Anything on the lines in the front 7. That's my priority. Build that up. I don't care about skill positions. Although, if you get a badass safety or corner, yeah, you definitely, if you can get a shutdown corner, that is extremely important. If there's one at 30, then take them. You know what I mean? For sure. I would do that also. But I'm not worried about any skill positions on the offensive side. I need you to build up the toughness of this team. That's what I want. I want to see a team that can actually win in the trenches. And then that'll make life easy for whatever quarterback you have. And that's what I want. Brett says, we know that in the markets, short-term volatility equals long-term opportunity. Volatility is opportunity. So many people sell low and buy high, which is ridiculous, but benefits everyone else. That's right. Yeah, I'm with you. Cover corner also, Osman. That's another one that I would the lines and the D-backs, because it's a passing league. So you definitely need that, man. Definitely got to have that. Hey, don't forget our friends at Hialeah Park. They are giving away a Lexus. All right. So you got to be there in person next Friday night. They're going to give it away at 1 o'clock in the morning. And every time you play the slot machines, you get entries. Every single time you pull the lever, press a button, you're going to get an entry. So get on down there to Hialeah Park. Go check it out. They got that second floor poker room. It's a no-smoking casino, so you'll be smoke-free, although they have areas called the Smoking Hot Slots, and they've got tables on the outside, super ventilated and all that if you want to, smoke your cigarette or your vape or whatever, you can do that there, at Hialeah Park. But inside, smoke-free. And the ladies will bring you drinks and food and all kinds of stuff, and you can wager on tracks around the country. And, of course, they've got the Hard Rock app. They've got it through the Hialeah Park Casino, which you can go right there on the QR code there, and you could get the app so you can place bets on any games, like the Lakers and the Heat tonight, like the Panthers tonight. So check it out at Hialeah Park, baby. All right. Let's see, what else do we have going on in the world of deportes to talk about? Let's see. Where are we at here? Market's actually down 253 points. Got a little better. The S&P is down 22. All right. And Bitcoin is up to 69,721. So trying to get back to 70. We'll see if it does. I know gas prices are up too, which is not good, unfortunately. That sucks. All right. What else? We talked about it earlier on the show with InterMiami, my brother. You can rewind and check it out. Antonio Brown is a little bit in trouble. Well, he's in a lot of trouble, obviously, with his cases and all that kind of stuff. But now his Florida home is finally up for sale. Not that he might not even be selling it, but his Florida home is on the market 2 years after he filed bankruptcy, 4 months after he was charged with second-degree attempted murder. It's listed at $4 million. The secluded waterfront estate in Odessa offers a pool, a dock on Lake Keystone, soaring ceilings, a winding staircase, and a breathtaking 2-story wall of celebratory windows, according to the listing. The 6-bedroom, 8-bath home blurs the lines between indoor elegance and outdoor lakefront living, with a style described as contemporary Florida Mediterranean. The garage has a space for up to 11 vehicles. Sean, you're screwed. You have like 14. So this house is too small for you, bro. All of which will be further protected by a gated approach. Interestingly, the listing specifically targets athletes, entertainers, or those seeking a luxury escape just minutes from Tampa. It's unclear if Brown is the seller in this case or if he's already been relieved of the home as part of the liquidation process. A transaction record for the property shows it was put up for sale by Brown in March of 2024, but does not list a buyer. He originally purchased the property in 2021, but while he was still with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is a beautiful house, by the way. Ginormous house. You know how this story ends, right? You are blessed with this ability by the good Lord, and somehow or another you screw it up. Man, that is a trip, I gotta say. So, anyway. What else? You know what? Let me do a little birthdays. All right, let me do a little birthdays. If you got any questions, send them in. March 19th. All right. Terry Hall, born in 1959 on this date, the English musician and lead singer of The Specials and formerly of Fun Boy 3. All right, Terry Hall. What else was Bruce Willis, actor, producer, and singer, born in 1955. Sucks what's happening to him now, man. Really sucks. Ricky Wilson, guitarist with the B-52s, born in 53. Billy Sheehan, bass guitarist, Mr. Big, Stevie Vai, or David Lee Roth band, born in 53. Hell of a bass player, man. Let's see who else. Derek Longmuir, drummer and founding member of the Bay City Rollers, SATURDAY, Night, born in 52. Paul Atkins, guitarist with the Zombies, She's Not There, born in 46. Let's see who else. Ruth Pointer from the Pointer Sisters, Slow Hand. Let's see what else. That is it for musicians. Now let's go with other famous people born on the 19th. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they have passed away. All right. Explorer David Livingston. I was just hanging out with him recently. Born in 1813. Just lost him. U.S. Marshal Wyatt Earp. Born in 1848. Chief U.S. Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren, born in 1891. Watergate Judge John Syria, Sirica, born in 1904. Actress Renee Taylor, born in 33. She is 93 today. Bless her. Actress Ursula Andrews, which is Miss Universe and, of course, Bond Girl, born in 36. She is 90. How about that? I think she's from Russia with Love, I want to say. Ursula. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody correct me. Let's see who else. Actress Glenn Close, born in 47. She is 79. Filmmaker Harvey Weinstein, an all-around scumbag, born in 52. He's 74. NFL coach Andy Reid, 58. He is 68 today. Musician Zach Lynn from Jimmy Eats World, born in 76. He's 50. Entrepreneur Edward Savrin, born in 82. He's 44. Oh, there's a wrestler. Baseball player Clayton Kershaw, born in 88. He's 38. Sean Stanley. Do you have wrestlers? I know you have one at least.
Yes, sir, we do. Tai Chi is 46. Matt Seidel turns 43. The dinosaur, Luchasaurus, is 41. Former referee Jimmy Corderas turns 64. Jimmy Havoc turns 42. And the wrestler I think that was on your list, AJ Lee. She is 39 on March 19th, 2026.
Why, she's the most famous one on the list, so you figured that's the one that's on the list? Is that what it is?
No, she's in WWE and most notably for WWE, and it seems like the ones on your list favor the WWE wrestlers, so that's kind of how I went with it.
Okay, all right. Because you normally, like, you nail it, like, every time. Like, okay, the one that's on your list is this one, and sure enough, it's the one that's on the list. Sometimes they're obvious, but that one, like, didn't know. Like, when you threw it out, like, but then again, I don't know shit about wrestling, so it kind of helps. That's why my predictions are so good. All right, let's go. Here we go. What happened today in music history? I know you're all on the edge of your seat. What happened today? Well, in 74, Jefferson Airplane renamed the group to Jefferson Starship. The new lineup included Paul Cantor, Grace Slick, drummer Johnny Barbada, David Freeberg, Paul Kaukonen, Craig Chakio, and Papa John Creech. In 75, Kiss released their third studio album, Dressed to Kill. It features Rock and Roll All Night. In 76, the Doobie Brothers released their sixth studio album, Taking It to the Streets, and it features that single and also Wheel of Fortune, and It Keeps You Running. In 81, the J. Giles Band were number one on the U.S. singles charts with Cetaphone. Na, 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 na. Great video, by the way. The eye candy in that video is strong. In 1990, Depeche Mode released their seventh studio album, Violator. It features Personal, Jesus, Policy of Truth, which is a great song, man. And Enjoy the Silence. It's just like, Violator is a great album. I saw that tour at the Miami Arena, and the opened up. Johnny Marr was the guitarist for the on that tour. It was the Dusk tour for the, and it was the Violator tour for Depeche Mode. Great freaking concert. Oh my God. That is strong. Anyway, let's see. In 95, Bruce Springsteen started a 2-week run at number one on the U.S. album charts with his greatest hits album. Let's see what else. In 2006, Shakira became the first pop star to release a single as a mobile download only. Her release, Hips Don't Lie, would not be issued as a CD to Verizon phone customers. How could you be married to that woman? I know what you're saying. What do you mean? What are you talking about, brother? It would be a lot of fun. She's super hot. Yeah, I know. But the problem is, like I've said for many years, those hips don't lie. So she could just go like this, Start going like this and go take out the trash. And then you're taking out the trash. And then she starts doing this. And now you're cutting the grass like Pat in Asheville. She can make you do anything with those hips. Jump off that cliff. And you're like in a haze, and she goes and gets another guy. It's very dangerous being married to that woman. You can't lie to those hips. So I don't know. I'd be very worried being married to her because she is mesmerizing, I gotta say. Absolutely mesmerizing. Well, in 2010, Justin Bieber released his debut studio album, My World 2.0, and it features Baby, Baby, Baby. Let's see what else. In 2013, Casey Musgraves released her debut studio album, Same Trailer, Different Park. It features the singles Merry Go Round, Blowing Smoke, Follow Your Arrow, and Keeping It to Yourself. Every time I think about Casey Musgraves, I think of one person. Michael and Kendall. Johnny and Kendall, we also lost. But we lost Michael and Kendall years ago. He was a listener, used to call in all the time. Really good dude, huge supporter of the show. Miss him. Rest in peace, Michael. I don't know if any of your family members are listening or follow the show or anything like that. He's the guy that turned me on to Casey Musgraves. So I will always remember him for that. You know, not only was he a terrific person, a supporter, but he used to mention to me about Casey Musgraves. And I got to know her through him because he was a listener that turned me on. And by the way, also Chris and Homestead. I don't know if his family still listens, but another guy that we lost. Miss him. And Johnny and Kendall, another one. Some of our listeners that we've lost over the years, unfortunately. Let's see. In 2021, Lana Del Rey released her 7th studio album, Chemtrails, over the Country Club, and it features the singles Let Me Love You Like a Woman, Chemtrails over the Country Club, White Dress, and Tulsa Jesus Freak. In 2021, Loretta Lynn released her 46th and final solo studio album, Still Woman Enough, and it features the singles Coal Miner's Daughter and One's on the Way. There you go. Now let me see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the other list. Nope, those were all there. So that's it. That's what happened today in music history. By the way, the Ocean Blue is also coming. Anybody live in the Orlando area? I like this band from the, I think they're like late 80s, early 90s. They're called Ocean Blue. And especially their first 2 albums are exceptional. And I'm going to go see them. I've seen them before when they come to town. But I'm going to drive over to Orlando. I got to look it up, and maybe they have a date in South Florida, which I'll be lucky. But if they don't, I'm going to drive over to Orlando. But I've never been to a place called the Abbey. So if anybody is watching and listening and knows about Orlando and the Abbey, give me a scouting report on that. And if you're listening to the show later on, send me a DM or something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and give me a scouting report on the Abbey in Orlando. Never been there. So that'll be a new place if they don't have a South Florida date. But at least on the email they sent me, it didn't have a South Florida date. Normally, if they have a South Florida date, I would have gotten that heads up. But I've never been there. So just in case anybody knows about the Abbey in Orlando, give me the skinny on the place. I'm going to have nightmares of Big O shaking his hips now. I don't blame you. It's pretty nightmarish. Yeah, very nightmarish. Oh, it was Dr. No. Thank you, Rosendo. There we go. Dr. No. Yeah. Yep. What else? Yes, lots of games today. Yes. Big O, what's your opinion at the time when Carlos Dansby was signed? Solid player, couldn't cover, but he was a good linebacker. Good tough linebacker against the run, can pass rush, but he wasn't a good cover guy. You know, we got him as an older player, but he was solid for the Dolphins. Again, dude, it's just about team accomplishments. We could talk about individual players throughout the history, and there's some guys that were solid, like Carlos Dansby. There were some guys that were great. There were some guys that were terrible. But it's really more about collectively, what has this franchise done in forever? Nothing. And that's really what bothers me more than anything else, is that the franchise has done, it has accomplished nothing, dude. Absolutely nothing, which is insane in this amount of time, and they have won nothing. So anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can also send in your questions, comments, what's it called? Insults, all kinds of good stuff. By the way, the crazy thing on the crypto side is, which again, it's kind of weird, but Caspa has been actually moving a little bit, which is weird because the whole market is crashing. And somehow Caspa's moved a little bit, which is kind of weird. That's for sure. Drew likes Dansby. He was solid too. Says, after Zach Thomas, would you say the next best linebacker for the Fins? Dansby? Oh, dude, I like Brooks. I like our guy right now, actually. No, I'd take this guy over our guy. I'll take this guy over Dansby. Yeah, I'll take our linebacker now. That might be the best linebacker we've had. Yeah, it hasn't been good, dude. Yeah, they've been serviceable at best. Dansby was solid. A couple guys have been solid since Zach, but our guy right now, I like him a lot, dude. I like him a lot. That was a good find. That one was good. That was definitely a good find. That one helped. Yeah, but Offerdahl was before my brother. He was before Zach. So he was asking after Zach. You start talking about the linebackers after Zach, and there are no great ones. It's Bonacani, it's Offerdahl, it's Zach, and then there are no more. We have no more. Okay? But I like our guy right now. I really do. I think he's a really good linebacker overall. Not great in coverage either, by the way, like Dansby. But I think he's actually might be a little better than him in coverage, So, but remember, the Dansby thing is we also got him a little later in his career. So, but I like Dansby. That's one of the few linebackers that we had that I like, to be quite honest. If we start talking about the linebackers we've had, there's not a lot of them, man. After Zach, there's not a lot of elite linebackers that we've had, unfortunately. But our boy now, I like him, dude. He can play. He can definitely play. He brings it constantly. Jordan Brooks, good player, man. Really good player. I like him a lot. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Nick Bonacani, linebacker, leader of that no-name defense. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, dude. You start going in the back end. Yeah, we had a lot of guys, but, it's like A.J. Dewey and Kimbo Camper. And, if you start going back in time, we could talk about a bunch of them that were really good for us, But after Zach, it's a great point that somebody asked there. There's not a lot, dude. There's just the history before Rich, the history after, not very good. Not very good. So, Steve Ettman he was all right. He never really lived up to what they thought he was going to be, by the way. And I know he intercepted Marino and went 99 yards because Marino hit him inside the face mask. So he was able to hold on to it. How that guy went 99 yards to this day, I don't know. Have no idea how. I think it was like 99 yards. Can you look it up for me? Steve Ettman intercepts Marino for a touchdown. I think it was like 99 yards or 98 yards or something stupid. But how a big guy like that was able to get to the other side was crazy, dude. And he did the same thing that Eli Manning did with the receiver, that he put it in his face mask. So there was, of course he's going to catch it. But yeah, dude, I to this day, I still have not recovered from that Steve Ettman interception for a touchdown against Marino. Yeah, that's not one I saw coming. Not for like 90 something yards. It's insane. Did you find it?
October 92.
Was it 99?
No, it was. They said it was technically 90 yards, not 99.
Okay. Well, technically, why? Well, why was it not technically 99? That's a great one. Tell me.
Oh, I'm trying to find the article right now. I'm just going off what I put in, what you said. It came up with that information. So,
that's interesting. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was 90, not 99. That's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. It was 90. Either way, dude.
It says they were on the 5-yard line, so if he's throwing it forward, it should be at least 95. But it says, I don't know, did it get hit backwards or something?
I all I remember is him just like stuck in his face mask, and then he's just running, and we're like, bro, tackle his fat ass. And it's like, how did he get there? How did he end up in the end zone? That was like so Dolphins. That was Marino's career. Shit like that would just happen in his games. Like how does Steve Ettman make it to the other side and nobody catches him? Nobody dives at his feet and just brings him down. Because I know you don't want to hit him up here because he's a big ass dude, but it's weird. Weird. That was yeah. It's funny how we don't recover from shit, right? Super Bowl against San Francisco. Super Bowl against the Redskins. Thurman Thomas gaining 300 yards on your ass. It's just funny how all that stuff just sticks to you, dude. And it's just like pain that you feel for the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what do you got for me?
So it just says, it says a game-saving interception on the final play Sunday and returned it 90 yards for a touchdown as Indianapolis beat the Dolphins 31-20. Now, remember, they were going in for a touchdown with the interception. At that time, the Dolphins were the last undefeated team in the NFL. So that
we were 9-0. We were 9-0?
Yeah. Yep. And then we were on the 5-yard line ready to score. We had already won 3 times on the final plays that season, and he intercepted, ran it back 90 yards, and ended the perfect season.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, man.
Just his wordings. He said,
what'd you say?
I just got my hands up. It hit my hands and stuck. Next thing I knew, I was running.
Yeah. Yeah. The ball literally stuck in his face mask. Yeah. That's how perfect of a pass it was. How it came in, that it just stabbed him right inside the face mask. And then he just kept running with it. And running and running and running. And we're like, and no one's catching, and no one's catching, and no one's catching. And it's like, yo, bro, this guy's just rumbling to the other side of the field. Come on, man.
It says the linebacker for the Colts said, I thought he'd fall down, but he kept going.
Yeah. Yeah. It took forever. You're like, where's everybody? It's just one of those deals. It's funny, man. Too much. Let's see. It also says Steve Ettman needed an oxygen tank on the. Yeah, of course. There's no way that he shouldn't have done that, though, dude. He should not have done that. There's no way, Frankie. It's just one of those plays that you're watching and you're like, is this happening? And it's just the weirdest thing that one of the weirder things I've ever seen in football, against your team, and it just like decided a game and all that. Yeah. Brian Cox was good, but that's again before Zach. The question was after Zach. As I said, before Zach, the history is rich. After Zach, the history is crap. Right? I mean, that's kind of what it is. After Zach Thomas, Dolphin linebacker history is garbage. Before Zach Thomas, Dolphin linebacker history is very rich. We had a bunch of good linebackers all throughout. So that was cool. But after Zach, yeah, dude, we've been dog crap, unfortunately, when it comes to linebackers. So it is what it is. All right, folks, we appreciate you all out there. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. Thank all of you for tuning in. Those of you that hit the like button, thank you. Hit the like button. Appreciate you all out there. You can also make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo. You can send in your questions, comments, and insults. We appreciate it as always. Visit our amazing sponsors like Fort Lauderdale United, like EJD Construction, like Welton Rayom, Caneswear, R&M Contractors, Sloman's, Laser Eye Center of Miami, Toyota of Hollywood, Acura of Pembroke Pines, All Year Cooling, Hialeah Park Casino, giving away that Lexus, Murias Dental, and Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Appreciate you all out there. We shall see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.